So, like with these people that are living like locals, what are they finding these rents for out there in these areas?
It really depends. So I have a friend of mine. She's originally from Venezuela, and she's living in one of these high rises, and she pays as little as 550, I guess, per month.
Okay.
And she has like a two-bedroom apartment in a high rise. She does not have ocean view, but she is in a great area.
All right. So today we have a special podcast. We are heading down to the beautiful country of Panama with my new friend Celine. Celine, how are you?
I'm absolutely great. Thank you for having me, Remy. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing great. It's great to see you. It's great to connect. So, Celine, let's just start off by you telling a little bit about your backstory. You are originally from Switzerland, but you've been living in
Correct.
Panama for, is it 8 years?
Now it's like 5 years. So I first went to Panama 8 years ago, but living in Panama, it's a little bit over 5 years now. Yeah, but
Okay.
I fell in love in Panama like 8 years ago, and yeah. So
Okay.
how you wanna know how I ended up down here from Switzerland to
Yes.
Panama,
Yeah.
right?
How did that happen?
So it basically is not that of an interesting story, I guess. But my husband and I, we really love like the warm weather and the sunny beaches and all like these tropical feelings. And we don't have that in Switzerland, as you could imagine. And so we spent a lot of winters in Florida, in Miami, and we always looked to stay a little bit longer than only with our tourist visas. And then we just Googled what is a great place to get like a permanent residency that has also like warm temperature, a lot of sun, and a lot of beaches and amazing nature. And we loved like this little Latin vibe that you sometimes get when you are in Miami. And
Hmm.
then we just Googled that, and then there was Panama. And so we decided once when we were in Miami just to hop down a little further south and go and explore Panama. And this is how we ended up, yeah, here.
Interesting. So, like when you did that, Celine, there's so many beautiful countries in Latin America, South America, Central America. Did you explore other countries as well?
Yeah, we traveled a lot in the past, and we really love like many places all over the world. Especially for me, Asia is something that I really adore. I love the beaches, I love the food in Asia, but I also have a dog and a cat, and I think moving to Asia with the pets is not that easy. And we were looking for something that is for us also possible to connect with the people from our culture that's a little bit more yeah, Western oriented. So we ended up in Panama, and we just fell in love with the people. We fell in love with the city. I never thought I would be a city girl because in Switzerland I grew up like in a very small village. So Switzerland basically is a small country, and this is also something that reminded me in Panama of my old hometown, because Panama is also a very small country. So in what area of the world is it possible to have like breakfast at the Atlantic Ocean and then have dinner like on the Pacific side? So this is
Mm.
something very unique, and yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. All right. So, for the viewers watching, Celine, we have viewers that are thinking about retiring to Panama or just living in Panama, getting out of the high cost of Canada, the US.
Yeah.
What makes Panama so special? I know it just was voted as the number one country to live and retire in by
Yeah.
expats.
Yeah.
But what, in your opinion, makes this place so spectacular, so special?
Yeah, so I guess it is a mix of a lot of advantages. So one of the main reasons for sure it's the climate. So as I already mentioned, we have like very nice climate, but Panama has to offer so much and so much different climate zones. For example, you can live at the beach or you can live in the mountains. So even if Panama is a small country, you can decide what is like the best temperature for you, and what you want to have. You want to have like ocean views, you want to live like in the suburbs, or you want to be like in the city with skyscrapers and modern buildings, or you want to go and have your little own finca, let's say in Boquete, and live like in the forest. So I guess this is like one of the main reasons, and for sure like the affordability, because of the living costs in Panama, they are especially lower than in the US or many European countries as well. For me, as Swiss person, it was not that a shock that Panama is not as cheap as Asia, for example. So sometimes people are asking, is it cheaper to live in Asia? And I guess yes, but I guess in Panama you just get like this very nice mix of high quality standards. So you have like very modern hospitals. A lot of hospitals are even associated with, let's say, John Hopkins, for example. So you get like very high standard on medical care. You have, especially for pensioners, I'm not already retired, I wish I would, but I'm almost a little bit retired because I can live at the beach, but it's not time for me. So for a lot of pensionados or retirees, it's very nice because we have like the pensionado visa in Panama, and that gives you access to a lot of discounts. For example, you can get up to a 25% discount on flights, and this is something that's very nice. And all over, the people and the culture is just so welcoming, it's just so open-minded, and people are friendly. And I guess this is why expats feel very fast, very welcome, and yeah, settle down like a new home in Panama, because you don't feel like you are like the gringo or the extranjero that comes to a country. You just feel like welcome.
Yeah. Relocating to Panama, you got to check these guys out. Weyermann Advisors and Partners is here to help. This is why we like these guys. Not only are they terrific and helpful people, they are also expats who moved to Panama 8 years ago. With first-hand experience, they know everything there is to know about settling into Panama and can answer any questions or concerns you might have, because they've already done it themselves. They specialize in securing your resident permit or the Residency Permanente, guiding you through the retirement visa and golden visa processes, and connecting you with top-tier rentals and real estate options. If you're looking for somebody with first-hand knowledge of moving to Panama and moving through the process and learning how to navigate the system, we highly recommend Weyermann Advisors and Partners. To learn more, scan the QR code on the screen, or you can click the link in the description below. Now let's get back to the video. It is a beautiful country. I've spent a couple months in Panama, and I always said this would be the ideal place to retire, because and I love Panama City. I love Casco Viejo. I love going to the Coca-Cola Cafe. It's the oldest cafe in Panama City, and it has a lot of history and a lot of well-known figures, you know, Che Guevara, Noriega, Fidel Castro have all been through the Coca-Cola Cafe, and it's still in existence, and it's really a fascinating gem of Panama. But that whole part of Casco Viejo is awesome, and then you got the biking area where you can bike along the sea, and it's just a beautiful, gorgeous city, and you got all these amazing restaurants, and you can find all kinds of food choices. I mean, little mercados can sell soup and varieties of different foods or you can go high end and eat at a high end restaurant, which makes it, when you got all those amenities in a place like Central America, it's really mind boggling, because it's like, it's like Miami Beach, but you're still in Central America at a fraction of the cost of what it would.
It really is a fraction. For example, if you are like in Miami Beach, and I know that because I used to be like several years like during the winter time in Florida. So you are going out and let's say for a drink and you get like a Cuba Libre or something, then you easily pay in Miami 15 to 20 to 25 or even $30 depending on location. And in Panama City you can go to the fanciest restaurants to the fanciest bars with top-notch service and really good drinks, and you pay, let's say, $5.
Sure.
So this is absolutely crazy. And as you said, we have like this Casco Viejo with the historical buildings, and we have the modern city. And for me, it's always very nice to say, for me it's like a city of contrasts.
Yes.
Because we have like all the modern infrastructure, we have like everything that you can imagine that you will need, and we have a lot of history as well, and we have like the high rises, and we have the nature. For example, there is Ancon Hill, it's the name. It's a small hill like right outside of the city, and when you walk up there, it's about 20-minute hike, but it's not that exhausting to do. You have an amazing view of Casco Viejo, the Pacific Ocean, and the modern city of Panama City. So this is one of my absolutely favorite places to just go a little bit outside of the city.
Yeah, yeah, and plus, the other benefit to what I love about Panama City, which is still on my radar, is a potential place for me to retire as well, is that you got the you got an amazing international airport where and you have access to so many places from that airport, and it's not the same in other countries and other large airports. So you can fly pretty much anywhere out of Tocumen International
Yeah.
Airport.
And there are even like smaller airports if you don't like to go like to a big airport like Tocumen, like which is the international one. There are also smaller ones like in Panama Pacifico or in Elbrook, and you can fly from there like to other Latin American countries. And um, Panama is often or mostly in the press mentioned as the hub of the Americas, and I guess this really brings it to the point because you are so central and you are
Yes.
like so connected to the US, but also to real Latin countries like of the South of America, and you are just in between those two worlds, and you get like the best of each.
Hmm. Yeah, exactly. So I think the viewers are always interested in, is the country stable? Will we
Yeah.
be safe? And we pull up the data and we share it with people all the time that Panama is a much safer country based on the GPI index than the United States, for example. But what is your take, and what can you share with the viewers who are interested, about the government, the stability, and the safety?
Yeah, so like politically, Panama is absolutely stable country. For sure, we have like all 4 years a new president, and there are always elections and like the normal things that's going on in a country when there are elections. But there are no like big demonstrations or people out on the streets. That is not common in Panama. So Panama is very safe and a calm country. And due to the Panama Canal, so they get like a lot of income generated, and this helps that people are really having work. And I think politically, work is always related to lower numbers of criminality,
Sure.
because if
Yeah.
people are getting a good income, if they have stability and they don't have time to be out on the streets, they have something to do, and this is always very great. So Panama really is growing. The whole market in Panama is growing since the last, let's say, 20, 30 years, and it's increasing like very fast. And it's also growing as in the tourist industry. It wasn't well known before. I guess Costa Rica is a little bit better known all over the world, or at least from my view from Europe. A lot of people said, Panama? Where is Panama exactly? I only know Costa Rica. But
Yeah.
Costa Rica is on the other hand a beautiful country too, and we have similar climate, but Panama has a lot more stability also politically. And maybe if we go a little bit like more personal, I'm a young female, and I feel very, very safe in Panama. Also in Panama City. For sure, in every country you have like particular areas where you shouldn't go through like at 3 a.m. in the morning
Yeah.
alone. That's absolutely clear. But these areas in Panama, they are very small. They are very well known, and it's not an area where expats or tourists usually go through.
Yeah.
And if I am like out in a restaurant or having a drink with friends, I feel absolutely safe to walk alone on the streets of Panama. I feel absolutely safe to take a taxi or a cab And I never had issues. I never had someone catcalling me or something like that. This is
Hmm.
something I more experienced in Switzerland. And sometimes it's crazy. I feel more safe in Panama, like in a big city, like in a metropolis, than in a small village back in
Hmm.
Switzerland. So
Interesting. Yeah.
yeah, this is my personal opinion. For sure, security and safety is for everyone different, and I always say, come to Panama, experience it yourself, and see how it feels for you.
Yeah. Yeah. It's I had the same, experience in the two times that I was there, and I was there, like I said, for a month each time, and really and just enjoyed the experience and the people, and I didn't feel uneasy anywhere. It was
No.
it's just a really terrific. It's really a terrific place to live. The other thing, that I didn't tell you about, I we jumped on a ferry because I learned of Taboga Island,
Yeah.
and I learned of that when we were in Panama City, and I said, "Hey, let's go check out this island. It's only an hour long. Takes an hour to get there by ferry, and we'll just stay there for a couple of nights." And it was like one of the most remote, interesting, but beautiful islands. And we just had a blast on that island. We stayed for like a couple days. There and back then, this is probably, geez, 15 years ago now, 14, yeah, 14 years ago. And there was very little infrastructure. There was only one bank, only one ATM machine, and there was like a couple of restaurants and everything. But the beaches were amazing. The people
Yeah.
were amazing. And I'm like going, and it's such a beautiful island. But they also, I've never been to the San Blas Islands. Now, I have been to Bocas del Toro, and that's drop dead gorgeous. I was all over bouncing around Bocas del Toro. That's another thing that most people don't know about. In Panama
You,
is these.
you are talking about my passion, Remy, because you don't know what's here on my table. We didn't talk about that before, but I have here. Look at that. This is the
Whoa.
Panama Cruising Guide. You can order that anywhere. And this is so. Last year, my husband and I we thought about what we should get each other for anniversary, and then we said, oh, all these like material stuff. It's not worth it. It's just like material stuff. And then we decided we do want to learn how to do boating and how to cruise in Panama. And then we joined the boating club, and since then I fell in love with all the little islands. And
Wow.
Panama is very well known for the San Blas Islands, which are on the Caribbean side, so on the
Yes.
Atlantic Ocean in the north. This is like a very touristy area, but what a lot of people don't know is that exactly if you talk about Taboga and all the little islands around there, this is like an area with about 1,000 or more than 1,000 small islands. It's
Hmm.
called Las Perlas, and you can go there by ferry, you can go there by tourist boats, and you have so much things to see and do. And this is my absolute favorite hotspot and the best time to do that. And this was just amazing because we finished boating school in last July, I guess, and this was just like the starting of the whale watching season. And it
Oh,
was
wow.
always a dream of me to see like the whales and the dolphins.
Yeah.
And we did see them before in Panama, but always like in distance or like on a ferry, and you see the whales, but you don't have the time to just let's say wait there and wait if more whales are coming or not. And since we are like in this boating club, it's just amazing. We go out like twice or three times a week, and you are just like on your own, on your little boat, and you can head to all these beautiful islands, to Taboga or to even smaller islands with no
Wow.
houses, no restaurants.
So,
And this is amazing.
wow. So you actually you learned how to boat. What is it, like
Yeah.
sailboats or
No, actually, I'm with like a motorboat. I know
okay.
that in the US it's way easier to get a license for that, but in Europe you really need like doing school and license, and it's very not that easy to get a license, especially for Switzerland because we don't have an ocean, we only have lakes.
Wow.
So for us
Okay.
this was a very special moment to be able to go out to the ocean with a small motorboat, but there are also sailing boats available if someone is like into sailing. and then you can just go out and explore the nature, go snorkeling, go
So you
fishing,
rent,
and
so you're renting a boat.
no, we are like a member in a boat club, so we do have
Okay.
like a monthly fee that we pay. It's like a membership, and then
I
you
see.
have like access to several boats, and then you can just like go and pick the boat for the day, and then you
Wow.
head out and you come back, and you don't have
How
to worry
big,
about
how big
anything.
are these boats?
Up to 40 feet,
So you
depending
guys are
depending.
operating a 40-foot boat with
Yeah,
a big, obviously pretty good engine on it.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so that doesn't take you that long to get out to Toboga.
No, Taboga is maybe with a little bit of speed, about 25 minutes to 30
Yeah.
minutes one
Yeah.
way, I would say. But usually, when you go out with friends, you are not in a hurry, so you don't go full speed. You just
Mm.
enjoy also the way, and then maybe you see something on the way you wanna see, or you just first make a little tour of the city and go see the very nice modern buildings and apartment projects, and then
Mhm.
you head down to Toboga, and then maybe you go and do some anchorage, and then you decide to go snorkeling, and then you hop back
Mm.
on the boat. So it's very convenient, and it's
Wow.
something for me. This is like the feeling of freedom.
Oh, it is. Yeah.
So this is very special. So when you are coming back to Panama, let me know so we can go out together
Oh
and I
my
can show you
geez.
Las Vegas.
I would be in awe. That would be so amazing. Did you guys end up snorkeling with any like the whales? Did you dive in when you were observing any of the whales or
I am a little scared of the big
oh, are
whales.
you
I loved no,
I would
I love to see them, but I always like to keep also a little distance because there are people they have no fear or anything, and I
yes.
think it's always good to observe them, but not to interact too much with them. But it's very nice. We have been snorkeling and we have seen a lot of plenty of fish or like tortugas, like the what's the name of tortuga in English? The now I have the language barrier, because now I know it in Spanish or in German.
Is it a
The
fit a fish?
turtle, the turtle,
Oh,
the
the
turtle.
turtle. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh yeah,
So yes,
the sea
yeah.
turtles are beautiful. You know what I saw? I did a lot of like snorkeling and I dive pretty deep in, when I snorkel
Oh
in
yeah.
Bocas del Toro and I kept running across a lot of barracuda. And a barracuda can
Yes.
be aggressive, you know. I was like, wow, these things are like wild looking, man, you know. But I ran across a lot of barracuda while
Yeah.
diving and snorkeling in Bocas del Toro, and but yet that was wonderful as well. I mean,
It's
diving out
so
there and
amazing.
snorkeling, it's
Yeah.
amazing. Yeah.
And you have like the stingrays and all like the colorful fish, and this is something that people don't expect from the Pacific side, because like the tourist tours, they are always like on the Caribbean side of Panama, but you really also have nice islands to explore in the Pacific.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. Well, that's awesome that you guys have found a way to access, you know, other parts of Panama that a lot of
Yeah.
people just don't, you know, especially I think there's how many islands in the San Blas Islands? Do you know the number of San Blas Islands out there?
I
Island.
know it's a couple of hundreds, but I'm not sure about the exact number.
Just
But yeah.
okay. San Blas
But
Islands,
you
Panama
get like this
archipelago.
these very sandy beaches, the white beaches. It's so nice.
Yeah, and they got the Gunna people out there, right? The Gunna,
Yeah.
and that's how you pronounce it, right? The Gunna,
So in Spanish they say the Gunayala people. So it's like
the
the village
Guna.
of the Gunayala. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's always I'm Swiss. I'm from Europe. I have a little Spanglish, like Spanish, English, German
Yeah,
mix.
yeah.
So sometimes I don't pronounce it correctly too. So no worries.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about okay. So the for the viewers that are looking to move to Panama, Celine, they're going to need a place to live.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do they start? And you know, what do rentals start for? I know obviously you go outside of Panama City, they're going to drop significantly. I've heard people
Absolutely.
are starting to move into David, where they're practically nothing, very affordable.
Yeah.
Boquetes, Boquete is a hot spot, but let's start with Panama City. What are the rentals going for? Accommodation options overall, where do you find them, and how much do they start
Yeah.
at?
So I guess this really depends on your lifestyle. So when we are like talking about like the cost of living, it's like the same in the US. You can live like for less than a few thousand bucks, or you can spend like 10 or 20,000 a month. It really
Hmm.
depends what you are looking for. And it's very funny because we had like 1 or 2 weeks ago in one of the Facebook groups there was a little question on how much are you spending in Panama to live comfortably, and I saw that and I just marked it for myself because I thought it would be very interesting for your audience because I know they are always checking out what are prices. And I guess there were around about 250 to 300 people answering that question, and they made it like with a little rating. And the main people or the main audience said they use between $2,000 and $3,000 a month for all in, not only for living or for renting an apartment. But also there were people saying they have only 800 a month and they are doing great and comfortably
Sure.
in Panama. So when we are talking about the city, it really depends. If you want to be like in the first row with ocean view at Avenida Balboa in one of the high rises, then you have like one bedroom starting, let's say long-term rentals around about $1,200 and
Yeah.
upwards. And if you are able to go a little bit more away from this hotspot area and move like 3 or 4 streets back, then you are maybe talking about 700, 800. And if you want to live like a local, it can even be cheaper. So this is maybe like a good starting point to mention. And
Yeah.
then for sure you can also rent a penthouse for 3,000. That's also
Sure.
possible. It really depends on what you like.
So you can actually find a place in a high rise with view of the ocean start right around 1,200 bucks.
Yeah, I would say long term, yeah.
Okay, that's great. Do those high rises have any amenities? Do they have pools in
Yeah.
them, or do they have like gyms?
Absolutely. So usually the high rises in Panama, they all come with social areas like pools, like gym in the building. Also, they sometimes have like gaming rooms with poker tables and like Xboxes and PlayStations and like
Hmm.
table soccer and ping pong. And sometimes you also get like spaces for like paddle tennis or all things like that. And this really depends building by building for sure. And
Hmm.
you need to come to Panama and see yourself what is a great area you feel comfortable in. But this is something that I was not used from Europe, because in Europe, even if you live like in a very good neighborhood, you don't get a gym in the house. You always need to get like a membership and go to a gym
Right.
center.
Yeah.
And so this was for me pretty new when we moved to Panama.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Great. Great info. So then if you do you, I mean, have you experienced many people, or do you have any friends after being there for as long as you've been, that actually do live like locals, and they go in areas and neighborhoods in Panama City where they're basically renting a house or a place in those areas to save money, and they're still pretty nice. Do you know anybody like that?
Yes.
You do.
Absolutely. So there, yes, yes. So we know a lot of people. They first like plan to come to Panama only as Plan B. So they want to keep like their home, let's say in the U.S. or in Europe,
Mhm.
and they just
Mhm.
want to have or get like the permanent residency in Panama to have a Plan B if they don't feel comfortable in their home, that they have an option to move somewhere. And they
Mhm.
usually don't like to rent something long term that it's like expensive, so they are always looking for like cheaper options just to have like the monthly costs a little bit balanced. And
Mhm.
there are a lot of people, they are doing really great living like locals. And I guess this is something, because Panama is so multicultural, because
Yeah.
it's not like the Panameño. You cannot say a Panamanian guy has that type of skin color or he is that tall or these are typics, because Panama is like a culture of
It
of
is. Yeah.
mixed races. And I guess this makes it very easy. And there are also neighborhoods, for example, like El Carmen or El Cangrejo, they are like way more affordable than like the oceanfront areas like Avenida Balboa or Ocean Reef Island or Costa del Este, and you still get very modern buildings, you still get safety, you still get like receptionist 24/7 services in the building,
Yeah.
and you are just like maybe 5 minutes away from the city center.
Wow. So like these people that are living like locals, what are they finding these rents for out there in these areas?
It really depends. So I have a friend of mine. She's originally from Venezuela, and she's living in one of these high rises, and she pays as little as 550, I guess, per month.
Okay.
And she has like a two-bedroom apartment in a high rise. She does not have ocean view, but she is in a great area. Or, for example, San Francisco is also a very nice area in Panama. Don't get confused. A lot of areas in Panama are called like cities in the U.S. So
Sure.
San
Yeah.
Francisco, for example, yeah, and yeah. So you can basically live very good in the city under $1,000 a month. Rent-wise, for sure you will have other expenses like food, and it depends if you are going to eat out in a restaurant every day. And even
Yeah.
with the restaurants, you already mentioned it, it's such a variety of price ranges. We have like 5-star Michelin restaurants where you can go and spend 100, 200, $300 for a dinner for two, or you can go to a local fonda. These are like the local street restaurants. They are very nice. The people there are very friendly and welcoming, and you can get like a typical Panamanian meal for as less as like $4, $5, or $6.
Yeah. 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 I remember. Yeah. And the food is excellent in those places.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great, Celine. Let's move on to for the viewers. They want to know, what do they need to do to qualify as a for a visa requirements. What are they? Do you know what the minimum income requirements are for the retirees currently? And what can you share on that?
Yeah, so basically there are several different options how you can obtain like a permanente residencia permanente in Panama, so it's like the permanent residency. I guess for your audience, maybe the pensionado visa is very interesting because you are like talking a lot in your videos about how to retire abroad or being an expat if you are like already like retired. So for a pensioner to get a pensionado visa in Panama, this is quite an easy process. Although you need a lawyer by law, you have like an attorney that needs to fill out the forms for you. But you have like a minimal income requirement of $1,000 right now. And if you are applying with a dependent, for example, with a wife or a partner, then you need to have like $250 more each month. And this is very important that this money comes like from an official institution. It needs to be a pension, like from a company that you have worked for, or social security money, or if you have been like in the military or whatever, and you need to prove that you get that like monthly. So this is like basically for the pensionado visa, more or less the only requirement. For sure you need a valid passport and all these things, but this is why we always encourage people to get in touch with us so we can have a short conversation and see what their personal situation is, about family members. Do they plan to come and really want to live in Panama, or do they want to have the pensionado visa just as plan B to have somewhere to go? And this is a very nice and smooth and easy process to get, because as pensionado visa you get like directly when you apply for it, you get like the permanent residency without the temporary period. It's just like you get it immediately when you fulfill all the requirements.
Okay, that's okay. So that's that visa. So, and you
Yeah.
guys actually help so your business that you guys started, you assist people through that process, right?
Yes, absolutely, because pensionado is just one part. We have other options for younger people or even families they want to move to Panama, and like the most common one is the Friendly Nation program. So basically, if you are a citizen of one of these friendly nations who are like working together with Panama, and you are willing to invest into real estate in Panama, it's very easy to obtain a permanent residency. And we do guide people through the whole process. So what we do at our firm, we call ourselves Weyermann Advisors and Partners. So we are like a network of professionals in Panama. So we first speak with you. I will ask you, hey Remy, tell me about your family situation, how many children you want to bring to Panama, what are your needs, what is your income, do you plan to work in Panama or do you work remotely for a US company, for example. And then together we find out for what kind of visa you are eligible to obtain or apply for. And then we connect you with our partner attorneys, and we will guide you through like every step of the way. So one requirement often is also to open a bank account, and to open a bank account in Panama as an expat or foreigner is not that easy, so we can help with that too. And there is one other very nice visa that's called the Golden Visa. It's for people who are willing to invest a little higher amount into Panama, for example, into real estate or reforestation. And if you are willing to invest like 300,000 US dollars, you can apply for the Golden Visa. The big difference between the Friendly Nation Visa and the Golden Visa is with the Friendly Nation Visa, you first get a temporary residency card that's valid for 2 years, and after that you can transform that into a real permanent residency. And with the Golden Visa, on the other hand, you directly apply and get the permanent one. So these are like the main differences. But there are a lot of small differences too, but we always love to chat with people about opportunities and see how we can help.
You know, if like the people that are moving there on a pension and are meeting that income requirement, if they, do you know anything about taxes, if their income will be taxed in Panama?
So usually I'm not an accountant, but we do have accountants in our network that can really give like their an opinion that is really valuable. But what I know, and this is also one reason why Panama is so welcoming for expats, is because Panama has like the territory tax system. So usually all income that comes from abroad, so it's not generated in Panama, usually is tax-free in Panama. And this is very interesting, especially for European people, which are getting like, let's say, a salary from overseas, and they are working remotely, because all this salary is not taxable in Panama.
That sounds great. Okay, so let's move on to, um, let me ask you this question. So, how old is too old to move to Panama?
Maybe the better question would be, when is it too late to move to Panama? Because I guess age is just a number, and for me it was like a huge step to move from Europe to Panama, but I'm still quite young. But this is also the great temperature and climate in Panama that keeps you young and wrinkle free. but basically there is not like an age limit. I do have a neighbor, and he is over 85 when he decided to move from the US to Panama, and he is doing great. And he moved here all on his own. So he doesn't have a spouse. He does have children back in the US, but they come and visit him once now and then. And he decided when he was over 85 to move to Panama, and he's very happy here. So I guess it really depends on how active you are and what are you like looking for in life. And there are so many nice projects in Panama also for elderly people. They want to live like independent into like the high ages. So for example, you mentioned Boquete earlier. There is like a new project starting with, it's like a residential project where you can buy small condos and with their own kitchen and everything, and they have like on-site medical center. So if you need to go, let's say, to a massage, or if you want to see a doctor because you have some issues, they are right in front of your door, so you are like basically living door to door with doctors. And the same is like in Costa del Este. We have all these very nice and large hospitals like Punta Pacifica or Panama Clinic, and they are very modern. And this is something, it's very easy to get healthcare here in Panama, and it's very common also to get help to do your household. So in Europe, this isn't very usual that you have someone cooking for you, for example, or someone who comes to your house for and help you clean, or does your laundry, or something like that. This is not so common in Europe, but in Panama, this is just so normal. Oh, I see your dog. I love
That's
dogs.
Sheldon. That's my
He's a big
buddy.
guy.
He is
Hey,
a big
Sheldon.
Sheldon is a big boxer, and he's like a over when we got Sheldon, he was only 15 pounds. Only
Oh,
15 pounds, and he's over 100 pounds now.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
but he's such
but
he's a sweet boy. I love him so
yeah,
much.
yeah. This is also something I love about Panama. Panama is very, very pet friendly.
Yeah, that's
So
great.
I brought my dog and my cat to Panama,
Hmm.
and I was a little worried first about yeah, they will do the transition, and if the dog is also welcome, like in restaurants or in outside areas of restaurants. And people are so friendly with dogs here. It's just amazing. You go out for a walk and you basically meet new friends because of your dog, and you have something to chat about. And yeah,
Yeah, yeah, that's all great information. Let's dive in a little bit deeper on the healthcare, Celine. I'm just
yeah.
curious for the retirees or anybody, do they have a public healthcare system that people can access, and if and do they have private insurance offerings as well? And what do you know about the price per month to obtain health insurance?
So basically, Panama does have a official social security system, and but it's more common for expats to have like a private insurance that covers also Panama. And there are solutions, especially for the people in the US, and they offer free consultation depending on your age and the size of your family. And we can connect interested people with them directly, and then they will get like a price quote and anything, because it's always very dependent on what you need and what you would like to have for the insurance.
Hmm.
But what I heard, it's like a fraction of the price of the US, and it is a fraction of the price of healthcare in Europe. So
Yeah. Are you familiar with any out-of-pocket costs at all?
yeah, I know someone who was in Panama as tourist, so he's not a resident in Panama, and then he had some problems with his teeth, so he had like dental problems, and he went to the dentist. And this is very interesting because in Switzerland, if you want to go to the dentist and it is not an emergency, you need to wait, for example, 3 4 weeks for an appointment to be seen. And he had just the option to go, ask. He waited about 15 minutes, and then he was attended, and then he got like 2 or 3 teeth. One was removed, the other one was filled, and whatever. And he paid about, I guess, $60. And in
Wow.
Switzerland, I have a friend who is a dentist, and she said it would have been in Switzerland at least 800 Swiss francs, so around
Yeah.
about 700 US dollars, so
It'd be more
or
than
even
that.
more.
Be
Yeah,
more
or
than that
even
in
more
the
than that.
U.S. for sure. It'd be way
Yeah.
more than that in the U.S. So,
So it really is affordable, or also there are a lot of people coming to Panama or Latin American countries to get like cosmetic surgery procedures done, even if it's not something that is necessary, but it's always good to have like
mm,
yeah, a price yeah, to compare to each city. And if people are in the public system of the CSS, it's called Caja Seguro Social in Panama, they really don't need to pay anything. So they pay through the employer, for example, or when they pay their insurance, and they don't have costs if they go and visit the doctor. So if you have like employees and they are in this CSS system and they need to go to the doctor's appointment and they need to get some painkillers or whatever, they will be assessed free of cost, and they don't need to pay for the medicine as well.
okay.
So
Yeah.
it's
That's
kind of a great system, yeah.
yeah. That's fantastic. All right. So I guess the last question would be like, what are the next steps for the viewers to get to know Panama better? I mean, what would be the next way for them to start really exploring and investigating?
Yeah, I always say come to Panama, book a flight down here, and come and see how beautiful the country is, get a feeling of the country. But if you wanna know before if Panama could be a place for you, it's always good to connect with people living in Panama, and this is exactly what we offer. You can get a consultation with us, a call. We can talk about all your questions. You can just ask whatever you wanna ask about life in Panama. And I guess it's always good to have like a professional opinion. So if there are like any questions regarding the pensionada visa or like the golden visa or real estate investment, yeah, just get in touch with us. We will listen what your needs are, and then we will connect you with our attorneys or partner attorneys, and then we will see how we can help. And for us, this was a huge advantage when we built this network, because when I personally came first to Panama, I didn't know anyone, and it was kind of scary, because even when you have like a small question, where is the best pharmacy, or which doctors are good, or where can I find a good vet for my dog, for example. It was not easy to get all these answers, and this was so great to have like expat groups and people living in Panama and being able to ask them. And yeah, over the years we just found a great network of partners and friends, and since then we love to help people out and show them Panama, and even show them around in different areas where they might want to relocate to. So it's always good to explore locations on their own.
Yeah, that's great info. The one thing I also like that we didn't note, that a lot of the doctors are trained in the US and Europe,
Yeah,
and they speak English. So finding a
they
doctor
do.
that does speak English in Panama is not difficult at all, which makes it also such an exceptional place to be for
Yeah.
retirees, you know?
So I would say, especially in and round about Panama City, for sure, if you are like living like in a more rural area, it will be more difficult to find a English-speaking doctor. But if you are like talking about Panama City and the suburbs, it's very easy to find very nice trained doctors. They are mostly trained in the US, and they are like working in John Hopkins associated hospitals, so you really get good care. And this was something very interesting, because when I was first in Panama, like I guess it was like half a year I was living in Panama, I slipped by the pool and I twisted my knee.
Mm.
And for me, it wasn't that bad, but I thought, okay, it's a little blue, it's turning blue, it looks like I need to go to a doctor. And my Spanish at that point was so bad. I could say, hola, mi nombre es Celine, and that's it. So I could maybe order a beer or a pizza, but that's it. And I went to the emergency room, and I just said in English, hey, I have this problem with my knee. I think I need to be assessed by a doctor. And they immediately came with a very nice young lady, and she stayed with me during the whole process, and she translated everything from Spanish to English, so I could
Wow.
understand exactly what the next steps are. And this was just so incredible. So also the waiting times in the ER, they were so low, because I'm used to, if you have like a twisted knee, it's not like a heart surgery or something like that needs to be like assessed like right now immediately. But I
Mhm.
didn't have to wait any more than 10 or 15 minutes, and I was assessed immediately, and that was so nice.
Yeah. Celine, um, for the viewers also that are thinking, man, I really need to explore this place. I want to do like an exploratory tour.
Yeah,
Come down there. My first question is, do you know anybody that I think, I'm not sure if you guys offer exploratory tours or not, where
yeah,
they can come down for a week or two and get a
yeah.
feel of the place. But also, what's fascinating too is, like you mentioned this point. What is your opinion on the best way to develop your Spanish? Because you said when you first got there, you didn't speak a lot of Spanish. Now you're fluent. You're pretty fluent. So how do people,
Pretty.
yeah, so how do people, what's your recommendation for the people watching this? You know, how can they find an exploratory tour to come down? And also, what's your recommendation on how to learn Spanish, um, effectively in Panama if you're going to go move down there and live there? What's the best way to do it? Do they offer courses down there, or did you take any courses, or did you just fully immerse yourself into the culture?
So basically, language-wise, when I came to Panama, I only knew a little Spanish from all the applications you get on your iPhone, like Bubble and Duolingo and how these apps all are called. And I was just like doing there some vocabulary just to get a little to know what's yes and no and left and right. And that was it. So when I came to Panama, I really fast noticed that a lot of people in the city do speak English, so it's not a problem to get along or get around. But if you want to immerse yourself into the culture, and if you want to make also friends with locals, it's always good to speak the language.
Right.
And so I just started to learn more vocabulary, and then I took some classes in Panama.
Okay.
They offer a lot. There are a lot of schools like in Casco Viejo. They are like also in the universities where you can join like day classes or like evening classes. There are also online classes for people they wanna start right now from the US or Europe and start learning Spanish. And this helped me very well to develop my Spanish. But what was like the most effective way for myself was just go out and speak Spanish.
Speak Spanish.
Even if you,
Yep.
it's the same in English. English is not my mother tongue, so sometimes I have like grammatical errors or like a word is missing in my head and I need to search for it. But it is the best way. Just go out and try to speak Spanish, because people in Panama, they won't judge you if you have like errors or grammatical errors
Sure.
in your sentences. They are so happy if they see that you are trying
Yeah.
to get a little bit more into their culture, and this was very nice. So we had very fast a lot of friends who were just speaking Spanish, and in the beginnings it was very funny because we had some misunderstandings too, language-wise, but you learn day by day, and this is the best thing. Just practice and go out and talk with people and surround yourself with Spanish-speaking people. And for the explorer tours or how to get to know Panama better, yes, absolutely, we do offer like an inspiration tour for people who are thinking about moving to Panama or investing into real estate in Panama. So what we offer is we have like 3 times a year, 3 to 4 times depending on the group sizes. We do have like group travels on predefined dates where people can join a group. Usually the groups are not that large, between 8 and 12 people. We want to keep it like cozy and familiar. And then we offer that we go to different areas in Panama to discover not only the areas but also nice projects, so people can get a feeling if they want to move there and if they would feel comfortable living there. What we also do is like private inspiration tours. So if you are like already booked your flight to Panama and it's in a time where we don't offer like a group tour right now, you can always hit us up and we can do like a private tour for you and your family.
Okay.
That's not an issue at all. We also can organize for you all the accommodation in different locations, so you can really get a feeling on how it is to live in Panama and not only to book a hotel room.
Yeah. All right. That's great information. Well, Celine, that's pretty much everything I have. Is there anything else that you can think of that we didn't discuss that could be helpful for the viewers? Any other things come to mind that,
I guess there is so much to say about Panama, but I
yeah,
guess we could fill hours and hours of
sure.
podcasts and interviews. But I would just like people to encourage to come down to Panama, see by yourself, contact with us, contact with people who fell in love with Panama. Surround yourself and get a feeling of Panama, and I'm sure you will fall in love and you don't want to go back home.
Yeah, yeah, we'll definitely share your links in the description and on the podcast so people can reach out to you. And then, so all right. Well, Celine, thank you so much for taking the time to do
Wonderful.
this. I
Thank
really,
you very much for having us. Yeah.
yeah, it's been a pleasure, and I look forward to connecting with you when I come down.
Absolutely, absolutely. We need to go for a good mojito or Cuba Libre or like having a good coffee together, because
I want to
Panama
go
is also known for
snorkeling with the
great coffee.
whales.
Absolutely, we can
I
do
want to go.
that. So August, September would be the best time to see the whales, even if they
Okay.
are like Yeah, you can see them all year round, but the best time is August, September, October, so round about
Okay.
there.
All right. Well, thank you, Celine, and I'll talk to you soon.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Remy.